In recent days and weeks, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has accelerated reopenings across the state.
Yeah, from increased capacity at sporting events to group exercise classes. Some are concerned, though, that we are just moving too fast, and the governor is actually trying to distract from the sexual harassment scandal that he is facing. And one of those critics of the governor's reopening plan is New York Public Advocate Jumaane Williams, and he joins us now live. Good morning, Public Advocate. Thanks for being here so we could see you. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, morning. Always a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Okay, so we are seeing a surge in reopenings and relaxed restrictions across New York City. Tell us why you're against this, because a lot of people have been waiting for this moment.
And we understand that, and we know there's fatigue, and we have to make sure fatigue doesn't win, and we have to also recognize that we're in a race right now between vaccines and the variants. It's about neck and neck. And a rush reopening will kind of just move us backwards. And people don't understand, but the amount of new hospitalizations that we've had this past New York, and we look at the amount of new cases we had in this time last year, it's about 2,000 more, which is a good indication that we're not where we need to be. We basically plateaued, but we plateaued so high, most experts believe that we're only going to go up. And what I would say is, I was on this show probably around the same time last year, along with a lot of other people, begging the governor to please shut down quickly.
Yeah.
He didn't listen. We actually lost lives. And we're doing the same thing now in reverse, and we're hoping that he will listen now.
Well, that brings me to what the mayor is announcing, right? Tens of thousands of New Yorkers, over 80,000, returning to the office in the weeks ahead. Now he's come out and said that they have to return wearing a mask when they're in the office. Is the city ready for this kind of action, and how do you think it should be handled?
Well, we're not sure. One, I do thank the mayor for trying to push the governor to stop the pushed reopenings that's going to happen next week. But when it comes to the city, I also have concerns. And my hope is that if this is going to happen, that it happens in a staggered approach. So we have an opportunity to see what happens. So I do have some concerns there for sure. We do know there's an economic hit here and people are hurting. They won't be hurting more than if we have to shut down again like we did at the schools because we reopened too quickly. So I do believe in incentivizing people to open slowly, but we have to. What we've seen in other cities across the world is that they've had to begin to shut down again because they opened too quickly.
Right.
And so we're really needing the governor and the city to do better.
You know, in support for your feelings on this is the growing concern about these new variants that are popping up around our area. So what are you hearing when it comes to these new variants?
You know, the UK variant, the Brazilian variant, we even have a New York City variant, and it's more contagious. And so far, the vaccines are working. But if we rush to reopening, it would allow people to pass this more contagious variant and possibly develop other variants. Also, what rushing to reopen does, it allows people to think they can relax the things that they're doing that are actually working, which is wearing the mask, remaining social distant. We have to be virulent, really, for at least the next month or two. So we're asking New York to just hold on. There is light at the end of the tunnel, but if we rush to get there, we're going to just go backwards.
You know, you brought up the vaccines and said they were working. So first and foremost, have you been vaccinated? And how do you think the vaccine efforts have been specifically in Black and brown communities in New York City?
I have been vaccinated, got vaccinated this past Sunday. I was trying to find actually the Johnson & Johnson only because I know that was the one people were most concerned about.
Right.
And so we want to show an example, but we want people to get vaccinated with whatever they have available. We're still not where we need to be by a long shot, not even close to herd immunity, but we are doing better. The Black and brown community, as they see more people and their neighbors and leaders getting it, they're getting more comfortable, which is great. But the disparity is still too wide. And we are concerned that as we start to get more vaccines, it may flip it on its head and have less demand than we have vaccines. And we want to make sure that doesn't happen. So it's a lot more work that needs to be done.
Yeah, you talked about waiting in line for your turn. You talked about being an example. I want to get your thoughts on this. A new report out this morning claiming that members of the governor's family actually received special treatment when it came to receiving COVID testing in the early days of this pandemic. What's your reaction to that?
My reaction is, you know, for a lot of these things, it's not any one thing. It's everything in totality. And we've been saying for a long time that this governor should not be governor. This governor's decisions are harmful to all New Yorkers, has been especially harmful to Black and brown New Yorkers. This governor is not a victim. And this is just another example of how he governs. So there should be no surprises here. My hope is that there's a change somewhere. And one of those places that it can be a change right now is reversing. It seems like every time there's something new, we reopen a little bit more. And so I'm hoping that doesn't happen and that he actually listens to us this time and slow it down.
Yeah, I want to just zero in on that report because it raised those ethical concerns at the time that the governor, like you mentioned, is under investigation for multiple things. The handling of the nursing homes during the pandemic, which we are today, by the way, marking 1 year since he said allow COVID patients back inside nursing homes. Sexual harassment claims from more than a half dozen women. Or would you go as far as saying you think the governor should resign?
So we have always said that this governor shouldn't be the governor, period. And this was long before any of this. And of course, this, is good enough. But it comes on top of the things that have already been going on. And so I believe the good of New York, the governor should resign. I don't think he will, and it's unfortunate. None of the things that we're hearing about now were in his book in June on leadership. I think those chapters are missing. But this governor is harmful to New Yorkers. Maybe the one thing that we see is things like the marijuana bill that's going to be passed that probably wouldn't have been if those courageous women hadn't come forward. But again, there are a lot of reasons. There's a laundry list of reasons that go back to nursing homes, that go back to how he's governed, that go back to the Buffalo billing, that go back to the Moreland Commission, that has let us know who this governor is. And Maya Angelou said, if someone shows you who they are, believe them.
I want to get your take on this. I know we're jumping to a bunch of different issues, but while we have you here, the new city council legislation that's on the table right now is to reform the Civilian Review Board, taking the ultimate decision out of the hands of the police commissioner and into the hands of the elected review board. Where do you stand on this?
There is a lot of things that this council will be looking at today. A lot of it moved very, very quickly. There are some good, some could use some work. I do think with 10 months left, we should be a little further, but I'm looking forward to see what actually comes out. That is one of them that I think is really good. I think that is one of the main sticking points that people have had, is that the police commissioner has too much autonomy when it comes to these decisions. And so really, I'm hoping that if I believe it's a resolution, that the resolution sends a message so we can actually get the law changed in Albany to make it happen.
Yes, and police commissioner was here on our air saying that he actually completely disagrees with that. Just a wild question, I'm going to throw it out there. We're out of time here, but since you're so outspoken of the governor and elections are coming up, any chance you would throw your hat in the race?
I haven't even thought about it enough to say yay or nay. I'm very concerned and have always been about New Yorkers, and everything I did is in pursuit of that. We're running for re-election for Public Advocate of the City of New York, and I really hope the voters give me another shot.
But it's not a no yet for the race for governor. Okay, Jumaane Williams.
No.
Thank you very much.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying everything we do, and I have been pretty consistent for a very long time. So these questions are hard because you can't, it's just not something you're really thinking about or focused right now.
Understood. Jumaane Williams, appreciate your time always.
Good to see you.
Thank you.